The wet rice civilization, the golden foundation that built the empires of Southeast Asia. Introduction: the soul of the paddy field. Look at a wet rice paddy. A lush green stretches to the horizon, its watery surface sparkling, reflecting the sky. It is a peaceful, familiar, and seemingly simple image. But hidden behind that beauty is a grand story that spans thousands of years. This is not just a farming method. This is a complex technical, social, and cultural system that has shaped landscapes, built empires, and sustained hundreds of millions of people. Wet rice is the golden foundation, the lifeblood that created the majority of Southeast Asia's brilliant civilizations. So, where did this marvelous cultivation system originate? How did it spread and transform across the region? And most importantly, what profound impacts did it have on the history and destiny of its peoples? Let us begin a journey to explore the very soul of a civilization. Chapter 1. The Yangtze. Origin: the journey south. The story of wet rice does not begin in the fields of Southeast Asia. Modern archaeological and genetic evidence all point to a more distant origin: the Yangtze River basin in what is now southern China. Around 8,000 to 10,000 years ago, ancient communities here began the process of domesticating wild rice, transforming it from a wild grass into a high-yield cereal crop. It was here that the first cultivation techniques were born: the building of dikes to hold water, the selection of the best seeds, and the realization of the intimate relationship between the rice plant and water. From this center, the knowledge of wet rice cultivation began a journey south that lasted for millennia. It did not spread like a storm, but like a slow yet persistent current, following in the footsteps of human migrations. Groups of people, carrying their seeds and farming techniques, gradually moved southward into the lands we now call Southeast Asia. One of the most important migrations was that of the Austronesian peoples, who not only traveled south over land, but also sailed to the islands. They are believed to be one of the main agents who brought early rice cultivation techniques to maritime Southeast Asia. The journey of the rice plant was also the journey that shaped the first ethnic groups in the region. Chapter 2. The Fertile Deltas, Cradle of the Mainland Empires. Upon arriving in Southeast Asia, the rice plant found its paradise. The vast deltas formed by mighty rivers like the Red River, Mekong, Chao Phraya, and Irrawaddy created an ideal environment. Fertile soil, abundant water, and a tropical monsoon climate allowed the rice to thrive. But to turn this potential into reality, humanity needed to take a great leap forward in organization. Large-scale wet rice cultivation is not a job for a single family. It requires the cooperation of an entire community, a whole village. People must work together to dig canals, build dikes, share water resources, and coordinate during the planting and harvesting seasons. This very need for cooperation and water management became the most powerful catalyst for the formation of early states. Those who could organize, coordinate labor, and resolve water disputes gradually became leaders and chieftains. Villages linked together to build larger irrigation works, and from there, states and empires were born. History has proven this. In Vietnam, the Red River civilization, with its Dong Son drums, was built on a foundation of wet rice. Later, Dai Viet built a powerful nation with its economy based on agriculture. In Cambodia, the Khmer Empire built the great city of Angkor. The abundant food supply from the surrounding fields, irrigated by the massive Beret reservoir system, fed the hundreds of thousands of workers who built the magnificent temples. In Thailand, kingdoms like Sukhothai and Ayutthaya also flourished in the fertile Chao Phraya River basin. Wet rice created a food surplus, allowing society to stratify and create non-agricultural classes like artisans, soldiers, priests, and bureaucrats. That surplus was the energy that built the temples, fed the armies, and created brilliant cultures. Chapter 3. Masterpieces on the Slopes, the Art of Terrace Farming. If people in the deltas conquered space horizontally, those in the highlands created masterpieces vertically. When migrants brought the rice plant to uneven terrain, they had to invent a unique cultivation technique. rice terraces. These are marvels of engineering and perseverance. Using rudimentary tools, over many generations, people transformed steep hillsides into giant fertile staircases. Each terrace is leveled and has a high bank to hold water, and they are connected by a system of small channels that guide water harmoniously from the mountain peaks downwards. In northern Vietnam and the Philippines, the rice terraces of Sapa or Banawe are likened to stairways to heaven. They are not just places to grow rice, but unique cultural landscapes that demonstrate a wonderful harmony between humans and nature. The Subak system in Bali, Indonesia, perhaps nowhere else in the world is the link between wet rice, community, and faith as deep as it is in Bali. The Subak system is a UNESCO-recognized World Heritage Site. It is not just an irrigation system, it is a philosophy of life. Water is seen as a gift from the lake goddess Dewi Danu. All irrigation water flows from a main temple at the crater lake, then is distributed down to the fields through a network of smaller temples. The sharing and management of water are decided not by an individual, but by the entire community of farmers in democratic meetings held at the temples. Subak is the most vivid proof that wet rice cultivation is not just a technique, but also culture and spirituality. Chapter 4: The Indispensable Companion, the Water Buffalo and the Plow. The story of the wet rice civilization would be incomplete without the image of the farmer's loyal companion, the water buffalo. With its durable strength and its ability to work in deep, muddy conditions that no other animal can, the water buffalo is the living engine, the first tractor of Southeast Asia. It helps people plow hard soil and churn the thick mud, preparing for a new season. The relationship between the farmer and the buffalo has become a profound cultural symbol, entering into folk songs, proverbs, and festivals. The saying, "the water buffalo is the start of a fortune," is not just a phrase. It is the culmination of thousands of years of history. Along with the water buffalo came the development of tools, from the simple wooden plow to the iron-tipped version, the harrow for smoothing the soil, and various sickles and knives for harvesting. All of this created an effective agricultural technology package, helping to maximize productivity in every field. Conclusion: the very soul of a civilization. Looking back at its entire history, it can be affirmed that the wet rice cultivation system is not just an economic activity. It is the very soul that has shaped the majority of Southeast Asia. It is the architect of the landscape, turning flooded plains into rich green carpets and carving masterpieces of terraces into mountainsides. It is the catalyst for society, creating community bonds in the management of water and promoting the birth of states and empires. And finally, it is the heart of the culture, influencing everything from cuisine and harvest festivals to language and the worldview. The entire history and identity of much of Southeast Asia can be seen, reflected in the shimmering water of a single rice paddy.